When Rowan saw the words carved into one of their foreheads, he completely lost it. He rushed forward and kicked the man in the stomach, screaming, "What is that written on your forehead? Get me a knife! I'm going to carve the skin right off his face!" The man cried out, "Mr. Rowan, it was Orville from Orris Hill who did this, and he carved it really deep, right on my forehead." Rowan quickly stepped in. "Rowan, don't do anything reckless. We can't touch these 5 men or the words on their foreheads." "Can't touch them?" Rowan was furious. "Why not? He has my name carved on his forehead, saying I eat crap. That's humiliating me," Rowan said. "The Wade family's representative told us we can't harm them, we can't neglect them, and we absolutely cannot remove the words from their foreheads. If we do, the Wade family will not let us off the hook." The Wade family? Everyone there was completely stunned. Rowan was also in shock. When he wasn't having one of his episodes, he was a completely normal person, so he knew exactly how powerful the Wade family of Eastcliff was. They were not a group the Wells family should ever provoke. He just couldn't figure it out. Why would the Wade family of Eastcliff suddenly target the Wells family? What had they done wrong? Seeing the turmoil, Roman's wife stepped forward, her eyes red from crying. "Honey, that video on social media is just too humiliating. They're describing me as some kind of horrible, loose woman." Roman pulled his wife into a comforting embrace, his voice heavy with helplessness. "Sweetheart, I tried everything I could to get it taken down, but I never imagined the Wade family would just buy the entire social media company and pin the video to the top. There's nothing more I can do." "But you shouldn't take it so hard. It's all nonsense, and anyone with half a brain knows it isn't true." He then added, "Don't you worry. I've already sent people to hunt down the 2 lowlifes who filmed that video. They probably won't make it through the night." Roman's younger brother Cyrus approached with a pained expression. "Brother, you need to go see Dad. He had a heart attack, and now he can't get up. He's lying in the intensive care unit." Roman's urgency was palpable. "Quick, someone help me up. Hurry, let me go see him." At that moment, Bernard Wells, the patriarch of the Wells family, was lying in the intensive care unit of his mansion. His vitals, like his heart rate, blood pressure, and oxygen levels, were being monitored around the clock. To keep his condition from getting worse, they had him hooked up to an IV nutrient drip and an oxygen mask. The video on social media had really infuriated Bernard. On top of that, he was old, and his ability to handle stress wasn't what it used to be. The shock hit him all at once, and he nearly had a heart attack, gasping for breath. When Roman brought his sons, Bradley and Rowan, along with his younger brother Cyrus, to the intensive care unit, the old master was lying in bed, cursing furiously. Those 2 disgusting animals daring to humiliate the Wells family in public. It's infuriating. If you don't kill them, the Wells family will be a laughingstock in Orris Hill for years to come. The respect our family commands, the top family in Orris Hill, will be gone. Nothing left. Seeing his father's spiking heart rate, Roman mustered up his courage. He limped forward and blurted out, "Dad, you're in no condition to be this angry. Please, calm down." "You're useless," Bernard snarled when he saw Roman. "I sent you to Orris Hill to find out who hurt Rowan. And what did you do? You brought shame to the Wells family name." Roman replied miserably, "Dad, this trip to Orris Hill, it was nothing like I expected. I never imagined someone in Orris Hill could single-handedly take down Keon Marsh and his 5 men. I never expected to accidentally cross the Wade family and get completely crushed by them. There was nothing I could do." As he spoke, he pointed to his own right leg, then to his son Bradley's, and said sadly, "Dad, my leg is broken, and so is Bradley's. And Bradley's hands are broken too. Do you really think I wanted this to happen? We just can't afford to make an enemy of the Wade family of Eastcliff. Even if they wanted to kill me and my son, we wouldn't be able to stop them." Bernard gave a cold snort and said, "If you weren't injured, I'd get out of this bed and beat you myself." Rahman could only drop to his knees with a thud. He said, full of shame, "Dad, it's my fault. I handled things poorly and disgraced the Wells family. Please, punish me." Bernard said with a dark expression, "Let me ask you, are those 2 lowlifes dead yet?" Not yet, Ramon said quickly. I've already sent people after them. I'm sure they'll find and kill them soon. Bernard said, after they're dead, I want the media to report it. Everyone in Orris Hill needs to know what happens when you cross the Wells family. Ramon nodded quickly. Don't worry, Dad. I'll make sure it gets done. Bernard asked again, did you get that video taken down from social media? It's down, Ramon said. He didn't dare mention that the Wade family had bought the social media platform, afraid of making his father even angrier. Bernard just grunted and said, remember what I told you. I want those two dead. They have to be dead within 24 hours. Ramon replied quickly, don't worry, Dad. I'll do exactly as you command. Bernard's expression softened a little. Looking at Bradley, he said with a pained voice, Bradley, you really suffered on this trip to Orris Hill. It wasn't Roman or his brother Cyrus that the old master loved most, but his eldest grandson, Bradley. Seeing Bradley's current tragic state, he was truly heartbroken. Bradley knew his grandpa had spoiled him rotten since he was a kid. Hearing this, he burst into tears, but quickly wiped them away, trying to stay strong. Grandpa, don't worry about me, he said. I can handle it. But you have to take care of yourself. Just like Mr. Smith, Mr. Wells was the public face of the Wells family. Besides, Mr. Wells had deep connections all over Orris Hill. A lot of powerful people in business, politics, and even the criminal underworld showed him respect. It wasn't just because of his status, but because he had built close, personal relationships with so many of them. He had helped out just about everyone at some point. If Bernard were to pass away, those people certainly wouldn't give the Wells family the same respect as before. When that happened, the Wells family's influence would definitely take a huge hit. On top of that, Mr. Wells was a very sharp guy. He didn't cling to power in his old age. He passed the title of the Godfather to Roman early on and took a back seat. That way, he avoided holding on to control for too long and earning the resentment of his children and grandchildren. Because of all this, the entire Wells family hoped the old man would live a long, healthy life. Seeing that the old man's mood had stabilized a bit, everyone quickly said their goodbyes. Once they were out of the ICU, Roman pulled his brother Cyrus aside. Cyrus, he said, go tell everyone in the family, including the staff and drivers, to keep all news alerts off their phones. If he finds out, it'll be a disaster. Got it, brother, Cyrus nodded quickly. Brother, you and Bradley need to get your legs looked at. The doctor is already waiting. Roman and Bradley's legs still hadn't been treated, and the family doctor was waiting for them. After an examination, however, the doctor found that the knees of both Roman and his son were completely shattered, with no chance of recovery. So he said to the two of them, Mr. Wells, young master, the situation with the knees is not optimistic. I think the best solution is to order artificial knee joints and then perform replacement surgery. Roman quickly asked, how much of an impact will an artificial knee joint have? The doctor said, well, it won't be natural, and it will be uncomfortable at times, but at least you won't be crippled. You'll be able to bend your knees, stand, and walk. At worst, you'll have a slight limp and won't be able to run. Roman's expression was grim but resigned. The diagnosis was in line with what he had expected. He was a realist, and all that mattered was not ending up a complete cripple with a useless leg. Bradley was devastated and started crying. Dad, I'm only in my 20s. I don't want to walk with a limp for the rest of my life. Roman patted him on the shoulder and said seriously, son, you're in your 20s. You have to learn to face reality. Your knees are never going to be the same. This isn't about money. It's about the limits of what doctors can do. What choice do you have? You need to stop feeling sorry for yourself and start thinking about how we get revenge. Revenge? Bradley blurted out. Yes, we have to get revenge. We have to destroy that Charlie. Then we'll make Warnia marry me. Even if she says no, we'll use a gun to force her. Roman nodded, his face cold, and said, I've already thought about it. This Charlie is incredibly strong, and he's backed by the Smith family and a lot of people in Orris Hill. If we're going to take him out, we can't be impatient. We have to plan our move. Slowly. Bradley Wells quickly asked, Dad, do you have any good ideas? Roman said, Our problem before was that we underestimated the enemy. We were too aggressive and rushed in without knowing who we were up against, so we took a major loss. This time, I'm going to start by figuring things out from the outside. I want to know what kind of support Charlie has, how strong he really is, and how many enemies he's made. Once we've found his weaknesses, we'll know exactly how to target him. We have to make sure he's completely defenseless. The Wells family quickly announced a new policy. Anyone entering or leaving the Wells' house, no matter who they were, was forbidden from having the FixTube app on their phone. Anyone caught with it would face severe consequences. Of course, the Wells family took this rule very seriously. After all, a viral video insulting them was all over FixTube. They wouldn't have watched it even if you paid them. However, the household staff complained about the new rule. They just worked for the Wells family. They weren't part of it. The video didn't bother them one bit. In fact, most of them thought the video was hilarious and a huge relief. This was mainly because working for the Wells family meant living under a ton of strict rules and constant supervision. Everyone was constantly walking on eggshells, completely stressed out. The Wells family had always been harsh with their staff, with a long list of rules in their family law. You could get yelled at, docked pay, or worse for the smallest mistake. So, seeing someone publicly drag the Wells family all over FixTube actually felt pretty great to them. While Roman and Bradley were getting treatment for their injuries, Rowan Wells had to leave the room. He couldn't stand the sight of their mangled knees. At that moment, Rowan Wells felt incredibly conflicted. Before today, his own life had been a constant source of pain. The so-called dignified younger son of the Wells family was forced to eat something horrible every single hour. It had made him a national laughingstock, and his life a living hell. The worst part was right after, when his mind cleared and the overwhelming shame and disgust crashed down on him. But just now, seeing his father and brother with their legs broken, he suddenly felt a strange sense of relief, like a weight had been lifted off his shoulders. The feeling was bizarre, but it was also very real. It was like he'd been the only one forced to stand naked in the middle of the street, humiliated and panicked. But now, suddenly, 2 more people were standing there naked with him, and he didn't feel so alone or exposed anymore. Feeling a rare sense of calm, Rowan decided he could really go for a drink. The Wells family mansion was enormous, like a private palace. It had more than just living quarters. It included its own medical wing, a full gym, and various places for recreation and entertainment. Rowan left the treatment room and headed straight for the bar. As he walked past the staff bathroom, a familiar voice from inside caught his ear. Listening closer, Rowan couldn't help but get furious. Someone in there was listening to the stand-up comedy routine by Finian and his son. And to make things worse, he heard Finian and his son making jokes about his incident. Rowan's blood boiled. Damn it! I said that video was banned from all social media. Why is someone secretly watching it? They must have a death wish. With that thought, Rowan slammed the bathroom door open. A middle-aged man in his 40s was sitting on the toilet. Rowan recognized the man. He was one of the Wells family's drivers. The driver never expected the younger Wells son to just barge in. He was holding his phone, and the stand-up routine by Finian and Gage was still playing. Rowan yelled furiously, "You're watching that video in the Wells house? Are you trying to get yourself killed? I'll kill you, you bastard!" With that, he lunged forward, throwing punches and kicks at the driver. The driver cried out as he was beaten, but he didn't dare to fight back, just throwing his arms up to block the blows. Finally, he couldn't take it anymore. He just pulled up his pants and bolted out of there. Rowan shouted, "You son of a bitch! You think you can get away? I'm gonna break your legs today!" After yelling, he started to chase after him. But suddenly, his head started to spin. Rowan's heart sank. It was happening again. He knew he was having another episode. A moment later, Rowan's mind went blank. A few of Rowan's men saw the driver run out of the bathroom, pulling up his pants, and wondered what was going on. One of them yelled frantically, "Quick, stop him! Stop the young master!" The men dragged Rowan out of the bathroom. He roared, "Let me go or I'll kill you!" Seeing the commotion, other staff members rushed over to help. One of the men struggling to hold Rowan yelled, "Go get the young master's special meal, the sterilized one. Hurry!" "Right!" The man spun around and took off running. The news that Rowan had another sudden attack threw the entire Wells household into chaos once again. Meanwhile, back in Orris Hill, a thick fog was slowly blanketing the old city in the dead of night. 10 7-seater vans sped into Orris Hill City and pulled up in front of Finian's house. These 10 vans were packed with men who had driven all the way from Savannah to take out Finian and Gage. The 70 men completely surrounded Finian's house, but when they stormed in, they found it empty. The leader slammed his fist on his chest and cursed. "Damn it! The father and son ran off." "Boss, what do we do now?" one of the men asked, sounding worried. "If they were here, we could have taken them out and reported back to Mr. Wells. But since they're gone, they could be anywhere. Orris Hill has millions of people. How are 70 of us supposed to find them?" "So, what's the plan?" the man asked. "Shouldn't we call Mr. Wells first? Otherwise, he might think we screwed up. And if he thinks we botched the job, we're in big trouble." "Yeah, you're right." The leader immediately called Roman. Roman had just dealt with the injury to his knee and was waiting for his transplant surgery as soon as the custom knee joint arrived. He suddenly got a call and answered right away, demanding, "Did you kill Finian and Gage, those two bastards?" "Mr. Wells," the leader said awkwardly. "Mr. Wells, the Harrisons are gone. From what I can tell, they packed up and left in a hurry. It couldn't have been that long ago, maybe only 2 or 3 hours."
Damn it!
Roman was furious when he heard this and yelled, "Find them! I don't care if you have to chase them to the ends of the earth. You find those two bastards and kill them for me." 70 people began a citywide search in Orris Hill. However, they couldn't find a single clue about Finian or Gage. In reality, the Harrison family had already left Orris Hill and was speeding north in the dark. It's easy to catch a fish in a fishbowl, but it's incredibly hard to find that same fish in a lake. In the dead of night, Gage was behind the wheel, the luxurious Krausen Autohaus car eating up the miles on the highway. Suddenly, Finian's cell phone rang. It was his neighbor calling. The two of them were good buddies, often going out for drinks and dinner together. Before Finian left, he had called him and asked him to keep an eye on things. So when he called out of the blue, Finian figured there must be some news from back home. Sure enough, as soon as he answered the phone, his neighbor lowered his voice and said, "Finian, dozens of people just surrounded your house. They snuck inside quietly." "Dozens of people?" Finian exclaimed, his voice sharp. "Where are they now?" "They just left," his neighbor said. "Looks like they aren't giving up easily." Finian grunted. "I get it, Elias. Thanks. What are friends for?" After hanging up, Finian said with a grim look on his face, "Just as I thought. The Wells family sent people to kill us." He said they sent dozens of people. Damn, they're ruthless. Gage blurted out, "Dad, you don't think they'll find us, do you?" Finian waved his hand dismissively. "No way. The U.S. is a huge country. How could they ever find us? We're not stopping the car tonight. We'll drive straight to the airport. Tomorrow, we'll buy tickets for the first flight out and head straight to Mexico. Once we're there, we'll lay low. We'll live in our own manner, like kings. The Wells family won't ever find us for the rest of our lives." Tears welled up in Gage's eyes. "Dad, when we get to Mexico, I won't have to report to Orville at 5 o'clock every week. We can finally get rid of these words carved on our foreheads, right?" "Yes!" Finian touched the dry, hard scar on his own forehead and said bitterly, "This humiliation. I'm afraid we'll never get the chance to pay it back." The Smith family mansion was still brightly lit. Mr. Smith wore a white martial arts uniform and was practicing his moves in the yard, despite the chilly air. Even though the weather had cooled down and the old master was only wearing thin clothes, he didn't feel cold at all. In fact, he was sweating. The old master's 3 sons, several grandsons, and his granddaughter all gathered in the courtyard to watch him. Honor grew more and more surprised as he watched. He hadn't expected the rejuvenation pill to be so incredible. It hadn't just made the old master younger and his body stronger. More importantly, his entire mental state was completely different. Who would have imagined that the old master, who was on the brink of death just a few months ago, could be so full of life now? He had been practicing for more than 2 hours. Even a young man would be exhausted by now, but he didn't seem tired at all. On the contrary, the longer he practiced, the more energized he seemed. This was not a good sign. At this rate, the old master's body was so strong he could easily live for another 10 or 20 years without any major problems. Theodore Smith, Honor's father, stood off to the side, completely stunned. He was even more down in the dumps than his son. As the heir apparent, his biggest fear was his father living too long. Heirs can't wait forever. Sometimes when they get impatient, they do reckless things. Now that Mr. Smith was still holding all the power in the Smith family, the longer he lived, the more miserable Theodore would be. If the old man lived another 10 years, Theodore would be in his 70s or 80s. What chance would he have of ever becoming the patriarch of the Smith family? He might even die before his own father. The thought made Theodore incredibly depressed. Warnia, on the other hand, seeing her grandpa looking so much healthier and full of life, was thrilled. Seeing that the old master was a bit tired after being so active, Warnia quickly handed him a towel she had ready. "Grandpa, that's enough for tonight. Let's do this again tomorrow." "All right," Mr. Smith nodded excitedly, taking the towel to wipe the sweat from his brow. "I never thought, at my age and on the brink of death, that I'd get a second chance like this. I'm so grateful to Mr. Wade." Then Mr. Smith turned to Warnia again. "Warnia, you need to get serious about you and Mr. Wade. My biggest wish now is to see the two of you together." Warnia's face instantly turned bright red. Theodore chimed in. "Dad, about Warnia and Mr. Wade, you should really think twice about that." "Think twice?" Mr. Smith shot back. "Can't you see that Mr. Wade is capable of anything? He's a king in disguise. If you had a daughter, I bet you'd be dreaming of making Mr. Wade your son-in-law too." Theodore shifted awkwardly. "Dad, you're right. But the thing is, Mr. Wade is already married. You're telling Warnia to go after him. Aren't you basically encouraging her to be a homewrecker?" Hearing herself described that way made Warnia's face flush with embarrassment. She knew Charlie was married, and her constantly trying to get close to him was, admittedly, a bit out of line. Now that her uncle had said it out loud, it was even more humiliating. "Mr. Smith, what do you know? That marriage between Mr. Wade and the girl from the Wilson family is in name only. It's a total sham. So what is there to worry about?" With that, Mr. Smith completely ignored Theodore and looked at Warnia. "Warnia, don't listen to what anyone else thinks. If you like Mr. Wade, then just go for it." Warnia pressed her lips together and said nothing, clearly feeling conflicted and uncomfortable. Mr. Smith saw what she was thinking, turned his head, glared at Theodore, and said coldly, "From now on, nobody is allowed to say that Mr. Wade is married. If you do, don't blame me for being harsh." When Theodore heard this, he quickly bowed and said, "Dad, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that." "You better know it." Mr. Smith snorted, clearly unhappy. He then turned to Warnia and said, "Warnia, I need you to set up a meeting with Mr. Wade for me tomorrow. I want to take him to dinner to thank him for giving me that rejuvenation pill. It was an incredible kindness. I'm going to have a $1 billion cash card ready for him. It's just a small token of my appreciation, and I'll give it to Mr. Wade at dinner." The rest of the Smith family was in shock. $1 billion in cash? The entire Smith family's cash on hand was only about $3 billion. The old man was planning to take 1/3 of the family's entire cash reserve and just give it to Charlie? Theodore and Honor were furious. The cash the father and son had between them didn't even add up to $300 to $500 million, and now the old man wanted to give Charlie $1 billion? The next morning, Claire had a quick breakfast and headed off to work. The old master, Jacob, had a sour look on his face all morning. He scowled every time he saw Elaine and couldn't even be bothered to look at her. The thought of the family's savings, over $2 million, that Elaine had completely lost, made Jacob furious. He didn't have much money to his name, and that small nest egg had been built up by the family over many years. Even the money he'd made from flipping antiques was completely gone now. Jacob even thought about getting back in the game, heading down to the vintage market to try and find a hidden gem, and then finding Irvin Jones to sell it. When Elaine woke up, she seemed to have a guilty conscience. She tried smiling at Jacob, but he just ignored her. Getting the cold shoulder, Elaine didn't dare get angry or say anything to him. Instead, she turned her frustration on Charlie and said, "Hey, Charlie, you're just sitting around doing nothing. Go use that energy alignment stuff of yours to hustle up some money so we can buy furniture for the house. Otherwise, how are we ever going to move into the Thompson villa?" Charlie replied, "I'll do my best." Elaine put her hands on her hips and said, "It's not about trying. You have to get that money back." Jacob cut in, annoyed, grumbling. "Why are you giving him a hard time? Charlie has done a lot for this family. Unlike you. You haven't earned a single penny, In fact, you've spent a ton of our money and then lost the rest. In this family, the three of us are in the black, but you're the only one in the red. And you're so deep in the red that you've wiped out everything we've contributed." Elaine's face flushed with anger. She wanted to challenge Jacob. She was yelling at Charlie. What did that have to do with him? Jacob had gotten bold lately. Not only did he dare to yell at her and even hit her, but now he was actually standing up for Charlie? Was she, Elaine, now the one with the lowest status in this family? She felt like she couldn't win, no matter what. While Elaine was seething, Charlie's cell phone rang. It was Warnia. Once the call connected, Warnia spoke respectfully from the other end. "Mr. Wade, are you busy right now?" Charlie smiled slightly. "Not at all. What's up?" "That's right," Warnia said. "My grandpa is so grateful for the rejuvenating pill. He'd love to treat you to a meal. I was wondering if you have time." Charlie smiled and said, "Didn't we just eat yesterday? You want to do it again today?" Warnia replied, "Yesterday was a birthday party. Today, I want to invite you to dinner, just us. I don't know if you're free?" Charlie thought for a moment and asked, "What time?" Warnia quickly said, "Whenever is most convenient for you." Charlie said, "Then how about noon?" "Perfect," Warnia said excitedly. "I'll have Mr. Orville clear out the mansion for us, and I'll be waiting for you in the diamond box at noon." Charlie said, "See you at noon then." "Okay, Mr. Wade, see you at noon." After hanging up the phone, Charlie said to Elaine and Jacob, "Dad, Mom, something came up, so I can't cook lunch. You two should go out to eat, or just order some takeout." Elaine snapped, "What do you mean, go out or order takeout? You think you're too good to cook for us now?" Charlie said calmly, "A client asked me to check the energy alignment of his place. He's a rich guy." "What?" Elaine asked. "A big shot wants you to do an energy alignment?" "Yeah," Charlie nodded. "I'm heading over around noon." "Awesome!" Elaine got all excited. "Hurry up and go. Squeeze them for every penny. It'd be great if you could make enough to buy all our new furniture in one shot." Charlie said, "I'll do my best." Actually, Charlie had already made a plan. He was going to take out $2 million from his account and say he earned it from doing the energy alignment. Then, he'd use the money to buy the furniture. He couldn't stand the thought of his wife living in this run-down house anymore. Having to share a bathroom and being separated from Elaine by just a wall was driving him crazy. She was just so annoying. If they moved to the villa, he and his wife would live on the second floor, and he'd let Elaine and Jacob live on the first floor. That would solve a lot of their problems. So he pretended he was going to do an energy alignment, but he already had his real plan worked out. After dinner with Mr. Smith, he would go straight to the bank, open a new account, transfer $2 million into it, and then give the card to his wife. Or maybe to Jacob. The one person he absolutely wouldn't give it to was Elaine. She was a total spendthrift and had a gambling problem. Otherwise, she'd probably take the money and immediately blow it at the beauty salon, loading up her account with $200,000 for facials and spa treatments. At 11 o'clock, Warnia pulled up to the building. She called Charlie and respectfully told him she was there, asking him to come downstairs. When he got to the community gate, Warnia respectfully got out of the car and opened the passenger door for him. After he got in, she said, "Mr. Wade, my grandfather has already gone ahead to the mansion to wait for you. We should head over too." "Okay," Charlie nodded with a smile. "Thanks for coming all this way to get me." Warnia blushed a little. "Of course. It's the least I could do." Charlie just smiled and didn't say anything else. Meanwhile, at the mansion, flanked by 2 bodyguards, Mr. Smith walked through the entrance. He had invited Charlie to dinner tonight, and he hadn't brought anyone else from the Smith family with him. He brought Warnia with him, but left the rest of his entourage behind. When Mr. Orville heard that Mr. Smith had arrived, he rushed out to greet him. "Mr. Smith, my apologies," he said respectfully. "I was just overseeing the arrangements in the diamond box and couldn't get here sooner to welcome you." Mr. Smith looked at Mr. Orville and was suddenly taken aback. The man standing before him looked much younger than he did at the birthday party just yesterday. Could it be? Did he also get one of Mr. Wade's rejuvenation pills? The thought made Mr. Smith tremble. He asked, "Mr. Orville, you received a gift from Mr. Wade?" Mr. Orville nodded quickly. As he reached out to respectfully help Mr. Smith, he lowered his voice and said, "Mr. Smith, let me tell him. The Wells family sent some people to the mansion last night. They injured more than a dozen of my security guards. They were after my life. Mr. Wade showed up just in time to save me, and even gave me a rejuvenation pill. If he hadn't, even if I survived, I'd be a living dead man right now." Mr. Smith was shocked. What happened? Why haven't I heard anything about this? Mr. Orville: "After your birthday banquet yesterday afternoon, Mr. Wade mentioned his father-in-law was coming to the mansion to host a dinner party last night. That's when Gage Harrison and his father showed up with 5 of Roman's bodyguards. They nearly killed me. They were also planning to kill Mr. Wade's father-in-law, but their real target was Mr. Wade himself." What? Mr. Smith hadn't paid any attention to outside events yesterday. He was completely caught up in the incredible effects of the rejuvenation pill, and the other members of the Smith family were lost in their own thoughts too. Warnia, for instance, was overjoyed. However, Theodore and Honor were preoccupied with their own worries and weren't paying attention to anything happening outside the family. Now, hearing that Roman had tried to kill Mr. Wade, Mr. Smith became furious. "Damn that Wells family," he blurted out. Then he turned to one of his bodyguards and ordered, "Get the word out immediately. If the Wells family dares to touch a single hair on Mr. Wade's head, the entire Smith family will go to war with them, and we will fight to the very end."